The visitation was organized by parents of children who attend Phillips Elementary in West Fort Worth. The group met at the school this morning, and they were bused to Como Elementary, several miles away, which is a trip their children will become accustomed to this fall. Prior to the integration plan, Como Elementary had been predominantly black. Now a 70% white to 30% black ratio has been achieved. The principal of Como Elementary, Edwin Powell, explained the purpose of the parents' visitation plan.
I don't think there's any question about it. We wanted the people of course, to come over here to ask questions, to see what is going on here at Como, and I think we're accomplishing this purpose because this morning we've had approximately 150 people already to come through. So there's no question in my mind that it's being very beneficial.
You had any objections arise out of these visitations to Como itself?
No, not at all.
Following the visits to classrooms, explanations by Mr. Powell and teachers of special programs now in use in the school, and a question and answer session, the parents returned to their bus and to Phillips Elementary. Most of them spoke of their relief now knowing more about the educational programs available to their children and the atmosphere of the school that they will be attending.
I feel that each of them benefited from the visit. We were not trying or attempting to impress anyone with the validity of the cause, nor were we trying to push this particular system on them. Our primary purpose was, where are you going to send your child this next year? For example, it's not a question now of do we bus or do we not bus, but the question is, will my child go to Como or will my child go to a private school? And our purpose was for each parent to become better acquainted with the system, the cluster, and the Como situation. And this, I feel, was accomplished.
While the parents I talked with following the visitation said they feel better now about their children being bused out of their neighborhood, they also said the visit has not changed their objections to busing. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move in Fort Worth.
I think there has been much confusion and disruption both outside the board and within the board in the last 4 or 5 months. I still believe that it can be overcome, but it's going to be overcome only if the members of the board, and this was my recommendation to the council, that every member of the board be required to conduct himself in a responsible, courteous manner at board meetings and speak only as a board member and not for the board.
Well, if you really want to compare it to 2 weeks ago, I feel like $1 million. So I just started really training again for the first time in 6 months. And so my legs are really sore, but I feel I'm starting to move again. And I think for the first time in a long time, tennis is really fun for me today. So generally speaking, I'm just starting all over, and I really did enjoy it. Of course, I'm happy to be here in Dallas. We had a great time last time we were here for the Maureen Connolly Brinker tournament, and of course with bigger prize money we have a lot more women playing tennis again, and a lot more women have a lot more opportunity.
100,000 hasn't spoiled you then?
No, I still have to play. That's over. You know, it's just history now. I'm glad I could do it, but you don't really know how to measure $100,000 anyway, and I still love to play. And so I decided I'd start training again and just play well again, because I really can't stand to lose, and the way I've been playing lately is been very hard on me. I think probably very hard on my husband to live with me anyway.
I think we've got a good pitching staff. I think we can put our pitching staff against any in the American League, except maybe Baltimore. They got an exceptional pitching staff. There's, a long relief man there doesn't get any work at all. Right. But for our ball club, Bosman, Broberg, Thompson, these guys, they're great pitchers. They're young. Everybody's young. Bosman's the oldest at 27. And how can you consider a guy 27 old? And
I certainly don't. I guarantee you.
But no, I think we got a good pitching staff. All we got to do is score runs, really.
Is the ball club, aside from the pitching staff, does it appear to be improved to you? I would think so, because everybody's so young, but they've got another year under their belt now.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell right now how much it's helped, you know, our year. Definitely guys like Toby, Bittner, Burroughs, definitely it's helped them. If you get that year experience, it helps anybody to get experience in the major leagues.
Oh, that's mine.
Almost.
That's it. Ready. Throw it to him.
All right.
All right, little sidearm.
Way to go, Dean.
Yay. Yeah. Bear's got 200 now.
Oh.
Come on, throw it here. All right. What's it catching?
Yeah.
Right here. Daddy. Throw it to Daddy. $100 per plate.
There are two phases to the basic concept of the use of this building: the scientific investigation of death and the scientific investigation of crime. The lower floor houses the former phase, while the upper floors hold the criminal investigation section. One part of the upper floor houses the toxicology lab, where suspected drugs are examined. There are two parts to this department: the separation and the identification of drugs. Separation is done basically by a method called spotting. Lisa Jacobson demonstrates how the drugs are spotted onto a glass slab coated with a thin layer of silicone. The specimen is then placed into a tank with a solution that causes a stain where the drug has been spotted. From that point, a photograph is taken of the slide and then sprayed with a colored solution. The separate parts of the drug can then be identified with known reference drugs. If only one drug needs to be identified, it can be done with a spectrograph that sends a ray of infrared light through the slide, causing a graph to be made, which is then identified comparing that graph to graphs of known narcotics, such as being done here by Julie Osterhout and James Baker. Another interesting section of the upper floor is the ballistics section, the examination of firearms. Instead of using a wooden trough loaded with cotton, the Forensic Sciences Institute uses a 15-foot deep tank of water. The director of the ballistics section is Louis Anderson. Mr. Anderson, why do you use the cloth over the top of this well?
That's to keep down backsplash.
I see. Now, how deep is this well?
There's about 12 feet of water in it.
Now, what's down there that we're going to look at?
We have a basket which we hope the bullets will be in when we pull it up.
What is the advantage of using water over the old box with the cotton inside.
Well, water doesn't make as many secondary marks on the bullet as the cotton waste does.
And there are the rounds, ready for examination.
There they are.
The expended bullets are then put under a dual system microscope by a technician such as Alan Jones, who attempts to match them with other bullets, the source of which is known. Identification is made through matching the nicks and scratches on the bullets. Jones told me that any weapon will make the same scratches each time it's fired. Results of this test and the data research of all departments are then placed into a central file for future reference. It's a brand new concept, this Dallas County Institute of Forensic Sciences, away from downtown, away from the law enforcement agencies. The new concept is separation of the scientific area from the investigative area. There's none other like it in the United States of America. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the move at the Forensic Sciences Institute in the Parkland Hospital Complex. It's a brand new concept, this Dallas County Institute of Forensic Sciences, away from
Go. Go ahead, Bill.
And I still think that we can teach a lot of subjects and a lot of things about life and educate young people without entertaining them with filth.
We have people. I've been approaching the OEO for the past 4 or 5 years. In fact, I made 2 trips to Washington, and have suggested on 2 occasions that they freeze the accounts and help us get it straightened out. And they were amazed. Evidently, they promptly told me that you do not prosecute these kind of people. The purpose of the program is to train people how to handle money. Of course, I'm pretty old-fashioned, I guess, and since you're using the taxpayers' money, I take a pretty dim view of that.
Furthermore, a good teacher is tactful and objective in discussing many different ideas in the classroom. So in conclusion, let me say that students and teachers need the opportunity to make choices from a wide variety of materials, including with the classics, the established works of our time.
Not on suspicions, but if we had any definite complaint that violated your state law, your theft, or your embezzlement laws, we would refer that to the grand jury or to a police agency for investigation.
Have you had any complaint like that?
No, we have not.
Do you anticipate any?
No.
She had an off day. Nothing was working for her. And I had a lot of confidence in my shots, and I was just playing real well. But she was never really in the match. You know, when we started warming up, I could tell she was just, you know, really shaky.
Kris, there's no question in your mind that what you are going to turn pro just as soon as you can.
I hope so, yes. I think that's what I'd like to do is play on the tour and play for money.
When I was coming in that building today, a couple of young men didn't refer to you as cute. They referred to you as 100 feet. Is that true?
No, they just do that as a joke. Because, no, in the paper there was something where I said that I wish some people would call me sexy instead of cute little Chris Evert, but I think that's why they said it.
It's all right if we describe you that way.
Yeah. Sure.
Do you think there could be a federal grand jury investigation of these latest things?
Well, it'll be strictly, I would say, up to the OEO officials. I read in the paper, and I haven't talked to Mr. Zimmerman, where he is going to ask for an investigation from OEO. Now, whether they've changed their philosophy or not, I do not know. But heretofore, they've sent teams in from Washington, and they have been very successful in whitewashing everything that's happened.